After a knock and announce, the front door was opened by Mr. Pelosi. The 82-year-old did not immediately declare an emergency or tried to leave his home, but instead began walking several feet back into the foyer toward the assailant and away from police.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Guys, got a feeling that this Paul Pelosi story is about to disappear. Okay, it is about to disappear. After the midterms, you're never going to hear anything about this ever again because the narrative for the mainstream liberal media is about to fall apart. I'm telling you, okay? I am telling you. The more details that comes out about this Paul Pelosi incident, the weirder and stranger that it gets. Because again, the more details that come out about this incident, the more questions I have about Paul Pelosi and David Papate. Right? What was their relationship? Because again, the more details that comes out, the more sure that I am getting, okay, the conspiracy theorist in me, okay, that there's more than what meets the eye that's going on here, that these people knew each other. Again, I don't know that for sure, but I'm just saying the new details that are coming out suggest that, you know, there's a lot more going on here. Something ain't right. So with that being said, let's get into this. As first and foremost, we got to talk about the fact that Nancy Pelosi, Paul Pelosi, they did in fact have security cameras on site, and they did get the incident, what happened with Paul Pelosi, on camera. It's on security camera footage. Take a look.
Tonight on the planned attack at House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's San Francisco home. The brutal assault on Pelosi's 82-year-old husband, Paul, has sent shockwaves across the political world as threats against elected officials have skyrocketed. CBS's Jonathan Vigliotti has the latest.
We're now learning that the break-in at Nancy Pelosi's home was captured by security cameras set up outside the house. Sources tell CBS News they're part of a network of roughly 1,800 cameras that the U.S. Capitol Police can access at any time. Meanwhile, details about what happened inside are coming into sharper focus. According to this criminal complaint, alleged assailant David DePape allowed Paul Pelosi to use the bathroom, where he grabbed his phone, called 911, and put it on speaker. DePape got agitated. Pelosi tells the 911 operator that the man told him to put the phone down and just do what he says. The dispatcher then asked for DePape's name, and he responded, "My name is David."
He doesn't know who the male is, but he advised that his name is David.
A terrifying series of events continue to unfold. DePape trying to restrain Pelosi. Pelosi trying to grab the hammer. When police arrived, Pelosi could not maintain his grip. DePape took the hammer, lunged at Pelosi, striking him in the head at full force, knocking Mr. Pelosi unconscious for about 3 minutes, waking up in a pool of his own blood. DePape later told officers it was a suicide mission. DePape allegedly named other targets, including several prominent state and federal politicians and their relatives.
I anticipate a lot more violence so long as conspiracy theories about our election, about our democracy, are able to thrive unopposed in our online spaces.
And today, the Pelosi family is scheduled to view police body camera footage of the attack. Security cameras around the home were not being monitored at the time because Nancy Pelosi was in Washington. Meanwhile, U.S. Capitol Police have begun reviewing their own security protocol following this attack, Nora.
Jonathan Vigliotti with that new information. Thank you.
Yeah, so this incident, at least the break-in, was caught on camera. I want to see that, right? I think the public should see that. That should be released. Because it looks like that the glass window at the back, the door, it looks like it was broken in from the inside. Okay, the glass is on the outside. Again, not sure how that happens, right? Maybe he broke it a certain way that caused the glass to fall that way. Who knows, right? But regardless, the real shocking detail that we got to talk about here is the fact that one of the most confusing aspects of the affidavit was the part where allegedly Paul Pelosi came to the door when police arrived. And apparently at that point, Paul Pelosi went back to the attacker and got in a struggle with the attacker with the hammer, I guess. Now we're getting more details about what exactly happened at that moment. And again, this right here is really a head scratcher. Take a look.
Craig, good morning. When officers arrived here at the Pelosi home exactly a week ago today, they initially didn't have any idea exactly what was going on. They knew they had a high priority call on their hand. What was unclear, what was happening inside the property just behind me.
This morning, Paul Pelosi is home, back at the house that became a crime scene a week ago today. NBC News learning new details about the moments police arrived. Sources familiar with what unfolded in the Pelosi residence now revealing when officers responded to the high-priority call, they were seemingly unaware they'd been called to the home of the Speaker of the House. After a knock and announce, the front door was opened by Mr. Pelosi. The 82-year-old did not immediately declare an emergency or try to leave his home, but instead began walking several feet back into the foyer toward the assailant and away from police. It's unclear if the 82-year-old was already injured or what his mental state was, say sources. According to court documents, when the officer asked what was going on, defendant smiled and said everything's good. But instantaneously, a struggle ensued as police clearly saw David DePape strike Paul Pelosi in the head with a hammer. After tackling the suspect, officers rushed to Mr. Pelosi, who was lying in a pool of blood.
What we do know is he brutally attacked Mr. Pelosi and attempted to kill him.
After spending several days in the ICU, Pelosi, who is recovering from a fractured skull and serious injuries to his arm and hand, is now home, where Capitol Police remain on alert. Investigators have previously said Pelosi did not know DePape when the 42-year-old broke into his home. Why Pelosi didn't try to flee or tell responding officers he was in distress is unclear.
Fear takes over. Fear freezes people.
This morning, the 82-year-old lucky to be alive after an intruder nearly killed him in his own home.
Law enforcement officials tell us the bottom line here is this was a terrifying situation. We still don't know exactly what unfolded between Mr. Pelosi and the suspect for the 30 minutes they were alone inside that house before police arrived. Officials who are investigating this matter would not go into further details about these new details. Craig, back to you.
Yeah, one thing's for sure, though. He is lucky to be alive. Miguel Amelgar for us. Miguel, thank you.
Yeah, this story right here is insane. This story right here is absolutely unbelievable. The mainstream liberal media should be demanding answers in regards to why in the world did Paul Pelosi answer the door for police and then walk back to the guy that is breaking into his home to attack him that he allegedly didn't know the guy, right? He walked back to the guy who had a hammer and then struggled with the guy to get the hammer and ended up getting hit in the head. Why did he do that? If somebody broke into my home, okay, I'm an old man, 82-year-old man, and I am lucky enough to have the police get there before I get killed, right? If I'm actually scared to death for my life, the first thing I'm doing, if the police show up, I'm running out the door. And I'm saying, police, he's right there, go get him, right? That's the first thing I'm doing. Paul Pelosi did not act like somebody that was in their right state of mind at that moment, okay? He didn't. He acted like somebody that may have been under the influence of something. I don't know. But what we do know is that his attacker, seems to me that he may have been into drugs, right? He may have been into that type of stuff. Again, sounds to me like there's a lot more going on here than what meets the eye. I'm just saying. And again, the shame is that the mainstream media, they're not going to ask questions about this obvious problem with the story. Again, there was already other holes and problems. Like, again, for example, if Paul Pelosi went to use the bathroom, he was allowed to, and after he called the police, why he just didn't stay in the bathroom. Now, again, according to the report, David Pepe got upset with Pelosi being in the bathroom too long, and I guess maybe that pressured him to come out. Okay, but if you went to the bathroom to call police, that suggests that you knew that you were in danger, that you didn't feel safe, right? Even though, he claims that he knows his name and, that David Pepe was a friend, okay? But he also didn't know him, which again is weird. He came out the bathroom. he went to the door. He answered the door for the police, and then he went and ran back to the guy that broke into his house and said that he's going to break the knees of his wife that threatened him. This doesn't make any sense at all. This makes zero sense whatsoever. And nobody's going to ask the right questions about why in the world did Paul Pelosi act this way towards a man that he allegedly did not know. He seemed to have a lot of trust in a man that he did not know. Okay? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So again, I think what's going to happen here, guys, is that the mainstream liberal media has failed to make a clear connection between Trump and the attacker. They failed on that front. That ain't going to work. And the more details that come out about this attack, the more questions that come up about, again, what was the actual relationship between Pelosi and this guy? It seems like, again, there was much more going on here. It was caught on camera, okay, security footage, which probably means that there's probably cameras inside the house as well, too. I have no doubt that there's probably cameras inside the house. It probably was caught on video inside the house as well, too. It's on police body cam. They already came out and said, we're not going to release that. There's zero transparency regarding this. And then the mainstream, they want to complain about people coming up with conspiracy theories. Well, yeah, I'm going to come up with conspiracy theories because the story makes no damn sense. It makes no damn sense. We need some transparency. We should demand transparency on this because, again, mainstream media didn't wait for any details to come out to come up with conspiracies about the guy being a Trump supporter, a MAGA supporter. So, again, I'm not going to wait to come up with my conspiracies about the relationship between Pelosi and this guy. Because this is not how you act towards somebody that you don't know, that broke into your house, that threatened your wife, that threatened you. You don't go back and walk towards that person when you have safety, when the police show up. That does not happen. Not if you're in the right state of mind. So again, either Paul Pelosi wasn't in the right state of mind. Okay? I mean, we know he got a history of DUIs. So he could have been drunk. Again, it was 2:30 in the morning. Who knows? Could have been something else going on. Either that or he had a lot more trust in him, in that guy than what we're being told. I'm just saying. I got a whole lot of questions, more questions than answers. And because of that, I don't believe that this story is going to be around for that much longer. I think this story, after the midterms, will be swept under the rug because the more details that come out, the more questions that come out that challenge the mainstream liberal narrative. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.